Welcome to Empower Her Voices Global Series Phase 2, Episode 10. Today we are joined by Laurie Harris, a global C suite advisor, chief people officer, executive coach, entrepreneur, and a podcast host. With over 25 years of experience, Laurie operates as the intersection of people, purpose, and performance, helping leaders and enterprises turn complexity into clarity and design cultures where both people and the planet thrive. So her work blends strategic precision with human insight, making her a compelling voice in shaping the new era of human centered leadership. So today's episode is all about the new era of human centered leadership. And for that, this episode is also going to celebrate the power of women who lead with purpose, clarity, and humanity. So, through Laurie's journey, and insights, we explore how women are redefining leadership by elevating culture, cultivating human potential, and creating systems specifically where people and purpose thrive together. So the conversation aims to inspire women to rise with confidence, lead intellectually, and the meaningful impact in a world undergoing a rapid transformation. Thank you so much, Larry. We really appreciate your contribution for this cause, which aims to motivate and inspire young girls and women around the globe.
Thank you. It is a joy to be here and an honor to be with you. Thank you.
Great, great. So, Laurie, like your leadership journey is rooted in purpose, culture, and specifically human potential. So, what defining experience shaped you where you are today as a woman, guiding organizations and C-suite executives around the world? So, can you just take us back to that? I'm sure it is not going to be one certain moment. There are going to be series of
Right,
moments.
right. So, yeah, I've been doing this over 30 years. You know, I would say one defining moment for me came early in my career when I realized
Mhm.
that brilliance alone does not build healthy life systems, that
Mhm.
human understanding does, understanding
Yeah,
human behavior.
true.
And I watched so many talented people burn out, disengage, and they just felt
Mm.
invisible. And I came to understand that leadership carries great responsibility, and
Mm.
to be in, to be courageous enough to build those work environments where people and their strengths, motivators, and energies are identified and honored and optimized and encouraged. And they're also invited to co create their futures together
Mm.
collectively. And that moment kind of reshaped how I lead. And I stopped asking, how do we perform? And I started asking questions like, how do we design environments where people can thrive and perform sustainably? And as a woman
Mm.
leader, that insight became my compass. It kind of became what drove, my purpose, and really what drove me to get up in the morning and be excited about going to work. And it taught
Mm.
me that leadership is not about power over others, it's about
Mm.
stewardship,
Yeah.
working together, co-creating collaboratively and
Mm.
cohesively, and really using our language, our words, and our actions
Mm.
to develop and to solve problems and to kind of just regulate ourselves in situations and circumstances. So, when you lead with purpose, when you lead
Yeah.
with compassion, when you lead with clarity, and you align yourself to your beliefs, your thoughts, and your behaviors, and you do all of that alignment to the things that matter most and those core values, you don't just change outcomes, you just don't make
Yeah.
things happen. You really do change lives. You really do evolve in a way that's prosperous. And that responsibility stays with you forever. And so for me, it's been it's not necessarily one specific memory or experience.
Mm.
It's a collective of a narrative of all that.
Wow. Wow. I really liked it when you said, it's relatable as well that, leading with purpose and
Yeah.
especially clarity. At times, people don't have clarity, and
Right.
that is very much needed. Otherwise, the people around us will also be impacted. So,
Exactly.
Roy, women often bring a distinct lens of empathy, alignment, and their own perspective. So, how do you see the women shaping the era of this new human-centered leadership, which has been changed tremendously over last couple of years?
Yes, it's exciting times right now, and I think it will continue to be going into the
Okay.
future. And I also want to say how beautiful is it that we stand on the shoulders of giants, right? We stand on the
Yes.
shoulders of other women, other leaders who really have carved the
Mhm.
pathway. And so women are
Mhm.
shaping this new era by redefining what strength looks like.
Yes.
Strength is no longer this loud dominance or control. Strength is truly listening
True.
deeply.
True.
It's aligning those virtues and those values with action that demonstrates that and exhibits those values. And it's also
Hmm.
about that nurturing, the nurturing talent, nurturing others,
Hmm.
and making
True.
these courageous decisions that serve
Hmm.
as a whole economic
Yes.
system. And women naturally, we
Hmm.
see
Yes,
these
that's very
connections, we
important.
feel, yeah, we feel these connections between people, between process and consequences, and we're
Hmm.
deeply intuitive. And that systems thinking, that
Hmm.
deep-hearted, heart-centered thinking, and utilizing first and foremost our own biological,
Hmm.
physiological, and psychological systems, and then looking at those process systems and those things that are going to support and deliver,
Okay.
and the true
Yeah.
nature of humans in the workplace as a mechanism for good. Let me repeat that. A true
Okay.
nature of humans in the workplace, in a work environment, as a mechanism for good is exactly what
Hmm.
today's world needs. It's times of uncertainty where women leaders often notice what's unspoken. We
Hmm.
ask better questions and we create
Yeah.
space, I call it create space for grace for others to
Hmm.
contribute. And those
True.
contributions collectively create a constructive environment. And so human centered leadership doesn't mean being soft and it doesn't mean being hard. It's not soft or hard. It means being
Hmm.
clear, it means being ethical and moral and
Hmm.
responsible while
Yeah.
remembering that every decision touches real lives each
True.
and every moment. And women are leading this shift not by limitations, but by authenticity. And we,
True.
most importantly, collectively, the world is better for it. And I just, it, for such a time as this, it's very beautiful
Yeah.
time, and it's very good time to be
Yeah.
a woman leader. Hmm.
Very, very, very well said, and I totally agree with you that it's very important for the leaders and especially for the community leaders, the women who are leading to create constructive work environment. As you said, that every decision is impacting human lives around us every minute. This is something that every leader, every manager should keep in mind that decisions are not just going to have one side effect; it is going to have a 360-degree impact around the people. So talking about people and the environment, so your ideology and perspective is that that culture is like a living system, right? As you
Yes.
said so. So how do
Yes.
you see that the women who are there in this culture, which you consider as a living system, how can they actually accelerate performance or they can lift people around them? Because there are people who are relying on them that they need inspiration and motivation from their side. So how can they create those environments which are going to be very impactful and they can thrive as well in those environments?
So I have three thought leadership pieces to share with you guys, and
Okay,
but first I want to
sure.
say that workplace and organizational culture is shaped every day by what leaders model, how we demonstrate,
Mm.
how we exhibit, what
Right.
we believe, what we believe and what we think,
Mm.
and by
Right.
what leaders model, by what they
Mm.
tolerate, by what they reward, and how people are behaving when no one is looking, given
Mm.
the number of various situations and circumstances that happen
Yeah.
each day in the workplace. So women
Mm.
leaders can shape powerful cultures by doing three things. And
Okay.
they're very simple, but they're very profound. They're big. They're simple, but they're complex
Good.
and
Good.
they're big.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
The first is to be visible, to show up, be visible in your values and the things that matter
Okay.
most to you. Demonstrate those, exhibit those, express those, verbalize
Okay.
those. People watch how you treat others. So the
Mm.
physiology and the biology is that we pay attention organically and
Mm.
naturally. And especially in moments where there's stress. So think
Okay.
about it. When things get heightened, we are
Mm.
very much in tune and attuned and
Yeah.
we're paying attention. So be visible in your values when things get stressful, especially in those
Mm.
times and in others. Your behavior is going to inform you, and everyone else's behavior and the situation will
Mm.
inform you. And let that teach
True.
you. Let
True. Yeah.
because more than the words being said, the behaviors are important. So that's number one.
Mm.
Be visible and pay attention. Listen
Yeah.
well, right? Second, be inclusive. Invite others, invite their voices, not just their opinions. Ask great
Mm.
questions to uncover and release some of these big ideas and some of these big
Mm.
solutions that are in each and
Wow.
every
Wow.
person. And it's
Mm.
beautiful because your perspective is different than mine. And
Yes.
so both collectively and together, that unification is exponential in power.
Mm.
So strategically create environments where people feel good about exploring and playing and thinking and questioning and
Mm.
formulating and contributing together.
Wow.
And innovation, this is important.
Mm.
Innovation that we're all seeking and that businesses are seeking and the
Mm.
economy is seeking, that comes from
Yes.
this inclusion. So that's
Mm.
number two.
Yeah.
And then number three is connect purpose to daily work. And I always tell all my clients, manage your energy to your priorities so that you might be at your highest and best each day. And so when people understand their alignment of their talents and their strengths, their motivators and their priorities
Mm.
to what they do and how they do what they do, performance and achievement and affiliation, those things rise naturally. Those things happen organically. And
Mm.
they also understand how to optimize and encourage others collectively to co create.
Mm.
And there is a
Mm.
work environment where, again, that affiliation and the encouragement, the
Mm.
achieving, and the fulfillment exist. And when we're in this state, it's effectiveness. There's effectiveness and there's
Mm.
enough and there's
Yeah.
prosperity. And this is where we
True.
see the collective efforts positively impacting the people, the organization, the community. Let's go even
Mm.
further. It impacts our nations. I have this
True.
pin, right? That this is this is the 17 Sustainable Development Goals for the UN, right?
STZ.
So,
Okay.
yeah, and it even gets to the place where there is this positive, lasting impact on our planet
Mm.
and our nation. So, people and planet, it comes together in a way that collectively, if we're each
True.
responsible in our own and we're inclusive, really truly makes a difference. So, a healthy culture A workplace culture is not
Yes.
accidental. Leaders do it on
Mm.
purpose. They
Yeah.
have ideal culture in mind, and they intend it, and they commit to it, and they exhibit it, and they demonstrate it. It's designed with intention and humility and great care.
Yeah, yeah. It's a treasure trove that you have shared in form of these three core principles. I started taking notes that I'm not going to miss on something that you're saying. So I really like it. You said that when somebody is going to be inclusive, it will strategically, like, the innovation comes with inclusion. That is so
Yes.
true. And at times in our workplace, we tend to ignore such things that I'm also now seeing inclusion from a different perspective when you were saying this. So I was thinking in my mind, wow, how beautifully she has connected innovation with this. We'll think about it in that way. But
Yes.
you're so right. And
Yes.
then the alignment with that you have just shared, that connect with purpose rather than doing it just being oblivious is not going to lead you somewhere. So that's so true. So, as your work is actually, sits at the intersection of people, culture, purpose, and specifically the way you have mentioned about the planet, and you're actually owning the sustainability development goal, and we all should, because they're like all the goals in their own capacity are really impactful and purposeful. It just depends upon the way where they're going to lead. So what practical actions you think a women leaders can take to integrate purpose driven decision making, specifically when they are in a team where there are high performing members, and
Yes.
then on the other end there are people who are struggling somehow somewhere, like the way we have students in a classroom. Same can be replicated in the offices as well, but then the teacher has to take all the students together, so the leader or the manager has to take all the employees together. But then in this situation it is affecting the company productivity. So how they can deal with such challenges?
So purpose and performance are not opposites. They're
Hmm.
partners. Purpose and
Hmm.
performance are partners. And
Okay.
when we have engagement and we have disengagement in our team, we
Hmm.
we have to really focus back on alignment. So one practical
Hmm.
action is to really just take a pause and
Hmm.
before deciding, before making decisions, collectively
Yeah.
come together and just take a
Hmm.
pause and really begin and get back to those things that matter most. Talk about your core
Hmm.
values
Yeah.
and get people realigned and ask each of the group to answer this question. Everyone in the group gets to ask the question. Who
Hmm.
does this decision that we're trying to make or this project that we're working on, who does it serve? And if we make this decision, what are the trade-offs and what harm could it do? What good could it do?
Hmm.
And that those questions kind of elevate the judgment and it realigns everybody back to those core values. And it gives each individual the ability to see themselves in the solution.
Yes.
Yeah. And another measure to what truly matters, those values, that results should include well-being and trust and long-term
Hmm.
impact,
Yes.
not just short-term gains.
Sure. Yes.
So helping the group to understand. So as a leader, it's really setting the tone of the dialogue and the conversation to not only look at short-term solutions, but also look at those long-term gains and then go
True.
back to some of these ideas and
Hmm.
continue to build on each other's ideas, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
And then again, this is kind of three things. And then finally, women leaders can design for sustainability, not exhaustion. So I want you to
Hmm.
consider this, right? Consider this
Yes.
statement. Manage your energy to your priorities so that you're at your highest and best and that you're balanced so that there's flow. women leaders can design for sustainability. They can design for long term, not
Yes.
exhaustion and not burnout. So high performance is not necessarily about pushing harder. It's about
Hmm.
aligning energy, talent, and purpose and meaning.
Hmm.
And so honor organizations and companies that honor people and planet, they don't fall behind. They last longer, they innovate faster, and they earn
Hmm.
deeper trust. And they're unified in their approach. And so
True.
it is truly leadership is, you cannot be a leader unless you have followers. And as a leader, that influence is truly visionary in nature,
Hmm.
and it's
Hmm.
supportive. It's threaded with deep care for the people
Yeah.
and the planet, right? Yeah.
True. True.
And and
You.
it's such a beautiful way to work.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So your inspiration regarding people and planet, I can see that, like I can feel the energy in terms of the way you show care, and plus the way you show that, that depth is coming right from your heart. How
Yes.
in every single thing, in every single perspective and experience, expertise you have, the people and planet bit is there, right? And I really I'm really inspired with this thinking. Why? Because generally in organizations, not all of them, but I have personally observed, and people also share their experiences, that when it comes about high performing teams, mostly people related to that, oh, the employees are exhausted, they have worked so much, and so they have spent nights, and then they're going to be high performers. But you have clearly mentioned that high performance is about alignment. It's not
Yes.
about burnout or exhaustion. So it should be
Yes.
sustainable, not like a high
Yes.
performing, so-called high performing employee is going to perform for good 1 week, and after that he's exhausted or she is exhausted. So yes, that's so true. So Roy, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and relatable and relevance. Comes is something that we can feel from your conversation, because what you have shared, I'm sure it is going to be very helpful for the women managers and leaders out there in whatever sector they are serving, because these are the things, specifically those three magical things that you have shared, about the innovation that you have shared, and then how you have shared that the leadership should come with purpose, clarity, and specifically the concept of alignment, the integration of alignment into our decision making. I'm sure these are definitely going to be helpful for the audience, and it's helpful for me as well. There are a couple of things that really made me think, oh, okay, I have to start doing these things. So thank you so much for your time. And before that, we are going to wrap up. So we would like, so for the women specifically, as it's all about, women rising in their careers or stepping into leadership for the first time, right? And so, what guidance would you offer on leading with courage, clarity, and specifically an unwavering sense of purpose for those who are going to step into this thing for the very first time?
I got a lot of thoughts here, so I'm going to try to keep it short, okay? I feel strongly you do not need permission to lead with integrity. You do not need permission to lead with integrity. Start by knowing your values. When your values are clear, decisions become easier, even when it's
Yeah.
hard, even when it's
Mm.
challenging. Have the courage to ask questions, have the curiosity, because curiosity is a leadership strength. And remember, leadership is not a title, it's a practice. And every time you choose honesty over fear, learning over pride, and service over ego, you are leading. And leadership is most creditable when it is framed as service before status, collective benefit over individual dominance, moral character as a foundation of authority, when family and community uplift as success markers, and education is stewardship, not rebellion. And the goal is to be grounded, to be wise, and
Yeah.
to be responsible. Yeah, so grounded, wise, and responsible. And the world you're stepping into needs you. The world needs, ladies, the world needs your intelligence, your compassion, and your voice. And we need collectively to be inclusive with others in that same approach. Lead with effectiveness, and most of all, lead from a place of great stewardship and love. And that
Yes.
is leading with courage, leading with clarity, and an unwavering sense of purpose and alignment.
Wow, wow. So there are lots of takeaways that the woman can take from this episode. And as Gauri has said, that leadership is a practice and not a
Yes,
title. And it's so
yes,
true. Otherwise, people misunderstand or misperceive the real essence of what leadership is. It's not about being a boss. And as Gauri said that, be grounded, be wise, and be responsible. Thank you so much, Gauri. And today we are winding up our phase two of global series, Empower Her Voices. And this episode we are going to wrap it up with Laurie's advice that leadership is a frame when it's status service over status. I just loved it the way we are just winding the phase two of global series, and we will be coming back with the phase three of global series. Thank you so much, Laurie. And I'm sure for the audience, there's a lot that you can learn from today's episode. But the most important thing that the almost everything is important what Laurie has shared. But when she said that leadership is a practice, not a title, but you need to stay humble, grounded, wise, and responsible. That is really important. So have a good day and take care. See you again with the phase three of global series of Empower Her Voices. Till then, take care.